Welcome, everybody. We're just a little bit later than we expected because people have been ringing in saying that traffic, trains and the usual thing has stopped people getting here on time, so apologies for that. But we thought we'd make a start anyway. For those that don't know me, I'm Russell Thompson. I'm the chair of Direct Works. I'll just wait for these guys to get sat down. And welcome to our first live seminar of the year. And we'll have another one a bit later on in the year. But yeah, welcome for those that have not been before. We've got some great speakers today. And hopefully you'll see and take part in some of the sort of roundtable sessions we've got. So please feel free to have a good chat about some of this stuff because some really interesting topics on the agenda today. Anyway, I'll move through the agenda, move through the presentation. So my welcome, which I've done, agenda for today's seminar, give you a bit of a look back over the last 12 months, what the future is going to look like for Direct Works, and I'll talk about that in a bit more detail. The governance, how we're going to manage what we've got and how we want to move forward. Subscriptions, I'll pick up that from Mike, and then Joe's going to feed back on the recent survey that was sent out that a lot of you have fed back, so thank you for that. I don't see the agenda. You can see a mistake there. We were hoping to get kicked off at 9:30, and we'll just push everything back, so apologies, we might get out a little bit later, but we might catch some time up as we move through the agenda. As you can see, we've got a really interesting agenda. I know I keep saying it, but we've got some great speakers on, 3 opportunities to have some roundtable interaction, which we've done before and goes down really well. So as I said, please feel free to get into a good debate on some of these issues so you can feed back. And we will be walking around the tables as we have done before with an open mic, so people can feed back from each table. You can see that I'm not going to go any more than that. I'm going to let people introduce themselves, it makes sense, let them do it their own way, rather than me introduce them on the stage. So you can see the timing, see how people are going to follow. Okay, just looking back on the last 12 months of Direct Works, we've now been going this year 25 years, and for those that remember Keith Simpson and Rodney, and Keith set this up about 1999, I was one of the original members, and about 4 years ago, myself and Mike, and more lately Joe, have sort of taken on the mantle from Keith and Rodney, with Keith's blessing, and as I say, we've had probably the last 4 years, we've been really trying to, I guess, solidify Direct Works, because as soon as we took over, we hit COVID, which was a bit of a tricky situation, given that we used to meet 4 times a year in person in Coventry, which we could no longer do. So what we've done is we've continued with our seminars, things like this, the webinars, engagement with members and people in the room. We've had a couple of award evenings now, which, you know, we've really celebrated what DLOs do best. We've had some fantastic submissions on that, and the steering group that have assessed those submissions have been, you know, been really, really impressed. So it's great to see that DLOs are thriving and that people are, you know, producing some really good work. We've done a piece more recently in Inside Housing, a CPD piece, which was well received. We've had some great comments back on that as well. And again, the steering group were pretty much instrumental in feeding back to Inside Housing. And they've produced a piece which is in the recent, I think it's last week's copy actually, but if you haven't seen it, please have a look at it, 'cause it's a really good article. We've been present at a number of conferences and webinars, getting Direct Works' name out there. And we've also, over the last couple of years, brought on affiliates, and a lot of those affiliates are in the room today. Thank you for your continued support. It's important that we do mix affiliates with members. We're all in this sector together. We can't do it on our own. We do need to broaden our reach, and by introducing affiliates to Direct Works and commercial businesses, we start to really see the benefit about what we can actually achieve, so it's important. And I'll talk a little bit later on in the presentation about how we're going to move that forward in the coming future. The steering group transition and commitment, we've moved to a smaller steering group. We're originally about 14 or 15. We've moved that down to 8. And we are meeting probably once a fortnight now for about 2 or 3 hours on an evening, which is fantastic commitment from the steering group, and it's great to have them on board. And they never fail to turn up, and if they can't get there, they make sure that they pick up ready for the next meeting. And again, I'll show you some of the work that they'll be picking up a bit later on. And we've also onboarded our new marketing support and advisors, Brewer. We've got Fiona and Susie, as you saw, came in there, as you came into reception, and they've been supporting us now since January. It's great to have them on board. Right, what does the future look like? Well, you'll recognise on the, I'm going to say left, but your left-hand side there, you'll see Direct Works where it is now. What we're going to do is we're going to move to a Direct Works group, which I did mention about a year ago, and we've now set that company up. And the reason we're doing that is because we want to trade and be more commercial, because Direct Works on its own can't do that. So we're establishing a Direct Works group that's going to allow us to operate commercially. We're going to have more of influencing groups. Direct works will continue. We want to introduce a direct asset. So we've already approached somebody around if they can chair that on a national level. We want to introduce direct compliance. And then from the right-hand side, you'll see affiliates as well. We want to set up that affiliates forum to get more benefit from the affiliates that support us at Direct Works. As you can see, they're all work streams in effect, but they will all be part of the Direct Works group, trading as Direct Works, could be direct assets, recruitment and consultancy, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in a while. But as you can see there, that's what we're starting to look like as we move forward. And that's a need to do that. We haven't got the reach as Direct Works on its own, so we do need to do something more. The membership fees pretty much cover what we need to do, but we can't do any more for that. We can't do any more with that. And members have said they want to see more services provided by Direct Works. And we feel we've got a real good commercial offering given the experience of Direct Works, given the people like ourselves, a steering group, and our members, that we should be able to do something different and disrupt in terms of what we can do within the sector. So how are we going to govern this in the next 12 months period? Well, you can see the Direct Works will continue as it is, so we'll continue to do what we're doing in terms of seminars and webinars. And then what we'll do is the steering group will then help in terms of that transition into the Direct Works group. We do need a figurehead, so the steering group has appointed myself at the time being as the MD of Direct Works Group Limited, so we've now got people that are able to take the business forward. And for those who probably don't know, I don't know if people do this, this isn't something we do as a full-time job. This is Direct Works is all a bit of an add-on. It's not our day job, it's something we do in our spare time, something we do at nights, and it's something we do at weekends. And it's time that if we are really going to get some traction in terms of what we're doing, then we need to start dedicating some time, and we need some income to be able to do that. And so we'll transition over the next 12 months to the Direct Works group and the steering group, and I'll talk about that in a minute. We'll then transition into a board. So how are we going to manage that workload? So you can see there, I'm not going to talk through all those. So we've broken all the elements down about how we're going to manage this transition. And there'll be steering group members that you can see on there will be leading in terms of those key areas and be supported by other steering group members as well. Pretty straightforward, but we need to spread the load. That's the point I'm making. It can't all be down to myself, Mike and Joe. We need to spread the load, and steering group members have come forward and I'm more than happy to get involved and move this whole process forward for us. So what will it look like post 12 months? So we're going through these first 12 months. What's it going to look like in a year's time? Well, the Direct Works will continue to operate as it is, but it will have a new chair and a vice chair. It'll have a new steering group with sole responsibility of developing seminars, planning those seminars and webinars, and any focus group that build from there. The current steering group will transition into board directors of the Direct Works group. And you can see there that our phase 1 and 2 of business growth is around recruitment and consultancy. We've gone with consultancy because 3 or 4 of us within the steering group are already consultants and have set up successful businesses we feel that aligns with our own skills. And the recruitment as well seems an obvious one about how we can maybe disrupt some of what's happening in the market as well and provide our experience in terms of developing a recruitment offer to the sector as well. I appreciate the people in the room are probably already in recruitment businesses and some colleagues in the front here, but yeah, a bit of competition doesn't hurt, does it? So that's where we should be looking post 12 months, and we're working hard in the background to develop that. Just a piece around subscriptions. It's the bane of Mike's life every year. We're hoping to improve on that, but we thought about doing something different this year. It's £750 a year. That aligns with the inflation increase as well. And we're also offering a 2-year standard membership option this year for £1,400. So maybe something your organisation might be interested in. And you can see there, in terms of the renewal process, we'll need PO sent to that membership at directworks.co.uk. I need to say this because it happens every year. It's got better, but sometimes Mike and Helen, Mike's wife, are chasing 6 and 7 months down the line for a PO. So please, wherever you are in the country, wherever your business is, if you're getting membership at Direct Works, can you just make sure you push that through for us, please? Trying to hang on for 6 or 7 months. We aren't working with big money here, so every little bit does help. So if you could take that message back to your organisation, that'd be really helpful. Okay, I've rattled through that, trying to get some time back. I'm happy to take any questions during the day. I don't suggest to do that now, unless anybody wants to raise anything in terms of what I presented. I'm happy to talk outside of that. No? Okay, I'm going to pass on to Joe, and he's going to take us through the recent survey.
Thanks, Russell. Good morning. And thank you to everybody who responded to the survey. It's produced some, I guess, results that we expected, so I don't think you'll see any surprises here, but it reinforces, I think, the value that people take from what we're doing at the moment. So I think the message is steady as she goes. I think the good news is that the vast majority of people are happy with what the organisation does and what they get for their membership. So lots of people are going to renew. It's pretty good value for money. You feel valued as members. And here's just reinforcing the point about a 2-year membership. I can't see that number from here. 96% of people were happy to go with a 2-year membership. So that feels like an initiative that we're going to pursue. So attendance, so the graph on the left shows the number of attendances that the responding members made every year. So a good number of people attending 4 events. We'd like to be able to put on more webinars so that there's more opportunities to attend and attend for a short period of time in the middle of the day over Teams and just learn something that's quite technical, quite specific. When it comes to attending these in-person seminars, you can see from the graph there's a full range of places where people would like to meet. Birmingham is coming out quite strongly. I'm sure this just reflects the people who responded to the survey. I note there we had some very specific geographical suggestions. Preston. So who in the room named Preston? But one thing that people really felt they got from these events was the opportunity to network. So we're trying to incorporate more time in the day for people to network. So topics and access. Lots of technical aspects that people are interested in hearing. Almost nothing wasn't interesting other than other, which no one was interested in. But obviously, it's easy to attend a webinar, so people are very keen to have webinars on these technical aspects, and very keen to engage more with suppliers about innovations that are coming. I think my personal experience is that if a supplier comes along and wants to share knowledge and help us understand and learn and educate, then that's really welcome. If they want to come along with a hard sell, then that doesn't usually go down very well. So note to affiliates, please come and educate us. Please don't try and sell too hard. If you educate us well, then we'll just follow and we'll be on board with you. One other topic that came through the text answers was an opportunity for a bit of benchmarking. I think whilst we've got Housemark and other organisations out there doing benchmarking, I think something specific to those with our direct service organisations would be appreciated. So I think we need to spend some time thinking about what that would look like, sending out surveys, getting information back so that we can help people understand, where they sit in a hierarchy, who's doing well, what are the reasons for the differences, and understanding how to just make that little difference, because it's that little difference that will lead to greater success. Topics and scope. I think this really reinforces the technical aspects that we're interested in. Yes, very, very specific. It really is back to roots, I think, is the answer that came out here, although there's interest in lots of different topics. The graph on the right is, should we be thinking more about assets and compliance? I think for most, my modest experience in direct service organisations is that we all start in repairs and then we get bits added on, and over time more and more has been added on, so we're more and more delivering the asset management, the service delivery aspect of the asset management, not necessarily the asset planning, but we're more involved in that. So there's an interest in developing the asset aspects and compliance aspects, which is why asset and compliance appear on the slide that Russell showed us a moment ago. This was quite an interesting one, I thought. Lots of people would like to come along, but are a bit shy about contributing. Although when you get into the text answers that people gave. Well, I'd be happy to share a case study, perhaps. I'd be interested in learning more about regional differences and the differences between working in a larger organisation. Clearly, there are more people in larger organisations, and that those in more senior roles are happy to delegate and volunteer the people in their teams to come and speak. This relies on people putting themselves forwards. Lots of requests for some things that are slightly more specific. But I guess what this calls on the steering group to do is to cajole and encourage and find a way in which more people can contribute. We used to have, it's a bit wobbly, we used to have a bit of an event at a number of the meetings where 2 or 3 people would speak for just 15, 20 minutes on a topic. And that was always very well received. And I think people feel, well, hopefully would feel, well, I can speak for 10 minutes or 15 minutes on this. We've done something really well, and I'd like to share that so that other people can benefit. So I think I'd really like to see that being developed, where people just get 10 minutes to say, hey, this is what we did. This went well. This bit didn't go well. So we can all share and learn and develop together. Communication. This is almost obvious when you've read it. I'm just talking to Russell about the number of ways we've got of communicating within our business. And so we have an internal social media thing called WorkVivo. Others may have it too. And I realise it's a good month since I've been on WorkVivo. It doesn't put itself in front of me, so I don't go searching for it. And I think the message here is that if you're going to communicate with me, do it directly. Send me an email. Make it really easy for me to connect. Put something on, perhaps on a WhatsApp group that flags up in front of me and says, hey, look at me, I've got something interesting here. So I think our future communication will really be based on the answers to this survey. And one question that was no surprise, but perhaps a surprise that it was the only answer in the survey that got 100% support. Please can we get return to the Q&A session that we used to do. It took Rodney a lot of time to translate all the queries that came in and distribute it to everybody and then collate some of the responses. So we need to find an automated way of doing that. But clearly people found a lot of value in the Q&A stuff that went out. I only, I think, asked one question in my time, but it enabled us to move from those really clunky, robust handheld devices to smartphones. And I asked people about their experience of operatives damaging smartphones. And it reassured, I got about 9 responses, and it really reassured me, and it convinced the exec and the board that it was safe to move to giving operatives smartphones. They wouldn't drop them in the first pot of paint or whatever that they came across. So yeah, I found it really helpful. I know lots of other people found it really helpful. And actually just seeing the questions that people were asking almost was helpful. You didn't need to respond or engage with a lot of it. It's always better when people do engage. But I think the Q&A is a real core part of the value of what Direct Works does. It's that remote networking. And you can just see what's going on, engage in a conversation, not engage in a conversation. But we need to find an automated way of doing it. So that's one of the things that Bruja will be helping us sort out. So thank you for everybody who contributed to the survey. I think no surprises, but it's nice to find the commonality of view, and it's nice to know what continues to be important to the members. So thank you. Any questions, any observations? Anybody who didn't answer the survey has a different view? Anybody want to be controversial this morning? Nah, it's going to be an easy day. Thank you.